As we wave goodbye to the month of March, the world's tennis stars will now bid adieu to hard courts and begin their preparations for the clay. The first two Masters 1000 events of the 2019 season threw up some surprising results and potentially altered the landscape heading into a couple of months of intense action on the European dirt. For those brave enough to write off Roger Federer after a disappointing 12 months at Grand Slam level, an impressive set of displays at Indian Wells and Miami suggested there is life in the old dog yet. The 37-year-old Swiss was a losing finalist in California before winning the inaugural event at the Hard Rock Stadium, putting John Isner to the sword in confident fashion in Sunday's final. But will that newfound confidence carry over into the clay? Perhaps not. I'm not very confident going into this clay court season, I can tell you that, because I don't even remember how to slide anymore. I'm taking baby steps at this point, said the 20-time Grand Slam champion. To be honest, I didn't play one point, not one shot on clay, I don't believe, last year. 2 years ago, I played 2 days. 3 years ago, I played not feeling great in Monaco and Rome and all that. So it's been so little that I really don't know what to expect. It's been 3 years since Federer played competitively on clay and he hasn't played at the French Open since 2015, but he is scheduled to make a highly anticipated return in 2019. Few would have given Federer a prayer of pipping the likes of Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal to the title, but the door has perhaps been slightly left ajar after events in recent weeks. King of clay, Nadal will be expected to pick up a significant portion of his total annual ranking points and is set to appear in Monte Carlo, Barcelona, Madrid and Rome before chasing a ridiculous 12th title in Paris. Last season, the 32-year-old won 4 of those 5 events, but his long-term knee issue reared its ugly head at Indian Wells, forcing him out of a semi-final with Federer as well as Miami and leaving him in a fitness race ahead of the first clay Masters 1000 event of the year. Nadal suffered with a similar issue last season, but gave himself more time to recover from his Australian Open retirement against eventual runner-up Marin Cilic, skipping the Sunshine Swing in its entirety before returning to action on the clay in the Davis Cup. The relative lack of recovery time this time around could play into the hands of potential challengers, with Djokovic the most likely to take full advantage. But again, the all-conquering Serb left behind more confusion in the USA after some underwhelming performances. Defeats to Philip Kohlschreiber and Roberto Bautista Agut, in events where he is traditionally strong, raised eyebrows, and while it's premature to set the alarm bells off for a man who has won the past 3 Grand Slam titles, there is understandably some concern over his form. World No. 1 Djokovic has made no secret of his desire to hold all 4 majors at once again, and the 15-time Slam winner can become the first man in the Open era to win every Grand Slam on at least 2 occasions. He is not the only threat to Nadal's title, though, and the man often dubbed the Prince of Clay secured an incredibly impressive result to suggest he's peaking in time for his favored surface. Dominic Thiem fought back from a set-down to defeat Federer and win a first Masters 1000 title, and he will fancy his chances of adding a second, and perhaps a first Grand Slam, to his collection in the coming weeks and months. Thiem may be tipped to cash in most when Nadal finally hangs up his racket, but the next gen are not far behind him, and talented Canadian teenagers Felix Auger-Aliassime and Denis Shapovalov were both semi-finalists in Miami. While Shapovalov also reached a Masters 1000 semi-final on the clay in Madrid last season, his compatriot is the one to watch this season. Auger-Aliassime, who became the first player born in the 2000s to crack the top 50 this week, has already reached a final on the dirt in Rio and is expected to thrive on the surface for years to come. Fellow young guns Alexander Zverev, who has plenty of points to defend, and Stefanos Tsitsipas will also be looking to rediscover their best form after posting some relatively disappointing results in the US. The clay court swing may have bordered on the predictably dull in the past couple of years, with Nadal cleaning up, but perhaps there will be some fresh excitement injected into proceedings this time around.